What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of MLB action here on Thursday, August 14th. We're going to give out plays on every MLB game on the slate. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock, my pick that regardless of price, I think is the highest chance of cashing today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally answer every comment every day. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and it pays to check back a couple of times per day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, things went okay. I'm not going to complain too much. Got off to a very good start there with the Brewers at -1.5 at +110. A blowout 12-5 win behind 4 solid innings there from Woodruff, and they even overcame some tough bullpen outings to eventually slug their way to a blowout win. We had the Rangers at -145. The Rangers blew the game in the top of the ninth, giving up 2 home runs and 4 total runs in the frame. When a bullpen that has been that good all season long then flops like this, it's pretty tilting, guys. Pretty tilting stuff. So we did back that up with a win there on that Seattle-Baltimore under 8.5, a 4-3 win there for the Orioles, and we cash our under thanks to both starters being so freaking good that we survived both bullpens actually being very mediocre. So we'll take the win there. We also cashed the Astros at -165, a 4-1 win there for Houston behind Hunter Brown being very good over his 6 2/3 innings, and with Buehler being mediocre over his 6. The Astros used a couple of home runs to bring us home the win. We also cashed our dog of the day, Miami at +105. They come through with the 13-4 blowout win there behind a mediocre start there from Yuri Perez. Back-to-back bad starts for the kid, so we'll see if he can bounce back, but an offensive avalanche and a terrible outing there from Gavin Williams, so the Marlins do come through for us. We took a very bad beat also on the Cardinals at -210 as our massive lock of the day, a 6-5 loss after the Cardinals gave up a 2-run home run in the 9th inning. You can't make this stuff up, guys. McGreevy was fine, Gomber was god-awful, but somehow the Rockies bullpen was lights out over 4 innings, and the Cardinals managed to blow it late. So we were 2 blown 9th inning leads away from having a 6-0 day. So a little bit annoying, but hey, we're going to get back out there. A 4-2 day is not something we're going to complain about, especially when we end up cashing our dog of the day. So let's go ahead and dive in, guys. We've got a decent Thursday slate. It's not the biggest slate, 7 games, but we've got 7 to cover, and we're going to break them all down here, starting off with the Seattle Mariners, heading to Baltimore to take on the Orioles. The Mariners come into this game probably a little bit tilted. They just had their winning streak snap, but they're only a single game back there of the Astros in a very competitive AL West. They're going to hand the ball in this game to Logan Evans. He's 6-4 on the year, a 4.36 ERA. His last start, 5 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, allowed to give up a home run in that game and walk 3, but we see the Mariners eventually win that game 7-4. Seattle is 4-1 over his last 5 starts. He also had a very good start there against the Astros. Obviously, a team that's pretty important that the Mariners beat at this point. So we'll see what he can do in this one. Obviously, maybe not dominating recently, but throwing the ball well enough to, make me happy. He's 24 years old. We're going to see some inconsistency from a 24-year-old starter out there on the big league mound. There's just no way around that, guys. That is part of how life works, as you mature into becoming a veteran big league starter. So we'll see what Logan Evans can do there on the mound. Obviously, the Mariners' bullpen has not been a massive concern this year. Every once in a while, there will be a bump in the road, but a 3.63 bullpen ERA this deep into the season is very, very respectable stuff. We've also liked what we've seen from the Mariners in terms of their, remake of their entire offense this year. Now, have they depended maybe too much on Cal Raleigh and his home run numbers? Maybe, but Bro's got 45 home runs and nearing 100 RBIs, so he's hitting the ball pretty well. Recently, though, the offense for the Mariners has struggled a bit. 3-1, 6-7, 3-4, and 8 over their last few games. Not swinging the hottest bats for a team that's 10th in the majors in runs scored and 11th in slugging percentage, but really, it's not time to be complaining about the Mariners' offense despite back-to-back kind of cold hitting nights. So we'll see if they can get something done out there at the plate in this one, taking on the Baltimore Orioles, who are 54-66 on the season. They have lost 3 out of their last 4, although they came with a win in their last game. They'll hand the ball in this game to Tomoyuki Sugano. Now, this team doesn't have a ton yet to play for, but Sugano still trying to make his way this season. 9-5 on the year, a 4.24 ERA. His last few starts, we've seen a bit of a mixed bag. A great start his last time on the mound, dominating the Athletics over 7 innings, giving up only a single run. Start for that did have some issues there against the Cubs, but we did see the Orioles win that game. Dominated the Rockies before that, struggled against Cleveland before that. So, yeah, he hasn't been the most consistent guy on the mound this season. We'll see what he can do here going up against the Mariners. But Sugano has been throwing the ball well recently and has a great start against Seattle under his belt already back on the 3rd of June. So, I'm kind of expecting Sugano to go out there and be pretty good. We'll see what happens. Now, the bullpen for Baltimore has been a problem. Don't get me wrong. Bottom 5 in the majors, a 4.76 bullpen ERA does not fill me with tons of confidence on a nightly basis, but The offense, well, it's not much better, guys. I mean, 4-0-2, 3-3-5 over their last few games is not very good, even for a team that's 20th in the majors in runs scored and 22nd in batting average. We've seen some positive stuff from this team, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. We've seen some positive things, but at the plate, it's looked so much worse this year, and, they were definitely sellers there at the trade deadline, so not loving the offensive situation right now for the Orioles. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Mariners are -130. The Orioles are +110. We've got a total of 9.5 out there. Seattle is 30-28 on the road, 32-25-1 to the over on the road. Baltimore's 28-30 at home, 30-26-2 to the over at home. I know we've got trends towards the over here, guys, but I like under 9.5 a lot in this spot. Sagano's throwing the ball well, has very good history there against the Mariners. Logan Evans has been good. The Orioles are not a dominant offensive team. Now, do I worry about the Orioles bullpen in a situation like this? Absolutely I do. But as long as Sagano goes out there and is good, I think we'll be in a position we can easily cash this under. And 9.5 is a ton of runs. So especially on a short slate, this under is very likely to make the pinned comment. In terms of a side, I will lean just slightly towards the Mariners, but no major lean on the side. The big value in this one is definitely that under. Next on the docket, we've got the Chicago Cubs headed to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Now, the Cubs, some tough injury news there. Got guys going straight back to the IL, but Chicago did get the win in Game 2 of this series, 4-1, so I'm sure they're stoked about that. Their odds of, overtaking the Brewers there in the NL Central seem pretty slim, but, obviously the wild card is there waiting for them. They're going to hand the ball in this game to Matthew Boyd, who's 11-5 on the year, a 2.45 ERA. His last time on the mound, not his best stuff. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs there against the Cardinals in a 5-0 loss. The Cubs have somehow managed to lose in his last 3 starts. Now, he did dominate Baltimore in a game they still lost, but struggled against the Cardinals and struggled against the Brewers. So now having to go up against the Toronto Blue Jays probably doesn't look like the easiest task. They are one of the most dangerous offensive teams in all of Major League Baseball. So we'll see what Boyd can do. The Cubs bullpen's been decent this year, but not great down the stretch. A 3.83 bullpen ERA at time of recording. Definitely a few steps taken recently in the wrong direction. The offense has not been hitting the ball great. 4-1-2-9-0-6-1 over their last few games. Not the hottest hitting for a team that's currently still 5th in the majors in runs scored, 8th in batting average, and slugging a .435 percentage. This team has been good at the plate this season. Recently, though, it's been a little bit more of a struggle. So we'll see what they can do here on the road, taking on the Blue Jays, who at 70-51 on the season are still 4.5 games up there on Boston in the very, used to be very competitive AL East. They're going to hand the ball in this game to Max Scherzer, who's 2-2 this year, a 4.21 ERA. His last couple of starts, though, guys, it seems like he's rounding into form. 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, and a 4-2 win against the Royals. Then 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and a 5-1 loss there against the Dodgers. Now, obviously, they take the loss there against the Dodgers, but it was not Scherzer's fault. He threw the ball really, really well. So we'll see what he can do here against the Cubs. This guy grew up in St. Louis, Missouri. Maybe the Cubs, a team he wouldn't mind dominating a little bit. We'll see what happens here. Now, Scherzer, working his way back into form. He's 41 years old, but seems like he's getting stronger as the season goes on. And his season, started back, I guess he did make one start at the very beginning of the year, but his season didn't really start until June. So we'll see how things go here. Obviously, the Toronto bullpen has looked great at different points this year, but right now, a 4.07 bullpen ERA, something that's going to have to improve before the playoffs start. The offense, I'm not going to complain too much about the Toronto offense. I know they're coming off a game they scored 1 run, but 1-5-5, 1-1, 20, 10, and 15 over their last few. They're still 7th in the majors in runs scored, but 1st in batting average and 1st in on-base percentage. This is a team that could definitely get after Matthew Boyd here a little bit. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Cubs are -110, the Blue Jays are -110, total of 8.5. So the odds makers have this as a coin flip. The Cubs are 31-29 on the road, 30-26-4 to the over on the road. Toronto's 39-19 at home. That's an MLB best at home. 34-22-2 to the over at home. Also an MLB best to the over. I'm not too interested in taking over 8.5 here. I really am not interested in that at all, to be honest. In terms of a side, I'll definitely back Toronto at home with Scherzer on the mound looking so good recently. I think we'll see him have a pretty good outing in this one. Now, Boyd could bounce back, so that could keep this out of the pin comment, but I do think Toronto is definitely the side you want to be on, and Boyd has struggled here recently, so it could, still have an outside chance to make the pin comment here on a short slate. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB and UFC picks with NFL preseason mixed in there as well, and NFL regular season and college football right around the corner. Major League Baseball has been our most profitable sport the last several years in a row. It's had a great 2025 season overall. At StumpTheSpread.com, you'll be able to see exclusive free picks that are only posted there, our free-to-use bet size calculator, which I recommend many of you check out, and we've got our premium top confidence picks, which might not and usually will not always match what you see here in the videos, as we have a monster over there that covers MLB for us. Not me, someone else who is a much better MLB handicapper than me, many more years of experience. He uses some very sophisticated tools and algorithms to make his predictions, and yeah, he is coming off of a bit of a rough day out there yesterday, guys. 1-3 overall. Not characteristic of what you see from this guy on a daily basis, but this is a real life situation, guys. Bad days are going to happen. We're only a couple days removed from a 3-0 day back there on the 11th. So I fully expect him to bounce back here. The end of the season can be a little bit tricky at times, but I expect him to have his, all of his predictions dialed in here pretty quickly, and I think we'll see him bounce back here before you know it. Also, guys, NFL and all that other kind of good stuff is getting worked in there as well. So definitely some premium Week 1 NFL picks are already posted over there in the premium section, but also premium MLB preseason picks coming out as well. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Also, get over to StumpTheSpread.com by clicking that link in the description to get on the free email newsletter, guys. It's great information straight to your inbox every single day. At least one, oftentimes two free picks included in every single email. Information on niche sports betting like golf, tennis, NASCAR, WNBA is often covered. That's a sport that's probably going to be in the premium section next year. So just a heads up on that. You might want to get in on that email list now, because you might have to pay for those WNBA picks a season from now. But definitely check out that free email list, guys. It's great information and it's absolutely free. If you're having trouble getting those emails, just check your spam folder. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to become a YouTube channel member. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get a name up on screen in every video, and guys, you get access to all of our members only giveaways. We'll be doing another members only giveaway here in just a few days. I think it's whatever it says on the screen right here. The 18th is what I'm guessing, but I can't remember for sure. But we'll be doing a hoodie giveaway there on the 18th. We'll spin a wheel, randomly choose one YouTube channel member, and that member will get a Stump the Spread hoodie of their size and choosing mailed straight to their mailbox. So definitely check that out, guys, if you're interested. But we're going to dive back in. We've got several more games to cover here on a pretty interesting Thursday slate. And next up, we're going to be looking at the Miami Marlins, headed to Cleveland to take on the Guardians. The Marlins got the blowout 13-4 win there for us yesterday, so we will definitely take that. Slam that thumbs up button, guys, if you enjoyed cashing the Marlins as our dog of the day there. Now, they, coming into game 3 of this series, they're going to hand the ball to Edward Cabrera. This Marlins team doesn't have a whole ton of hope left for this season, but I guess technically they're not completely out of it. I mean, right now, looking at that wild card race, we see the Marlins are currently 6 games back, so, hope is not dead out there in Miami, a team that's, drastically overachieved this season. They'll hand the ball in this game to Edward Cabrera. He's 6-5 on the year, a 3.08 ERA. His last time on the mound, 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run allowed there against Atlanta in a 5-1 win. He also struck out 11 in that start. And guys, his last, 4 outings, he's given up 1 earned run in each of those. The Marlins are 3-1 over that span. He's faced Atlanta, the Yankees, the Cardinals, and the Padres. Very solid stuff out there on the mound from Edward Cabrera. Now, we'll see what he can do against these Guardians. He hasn't faced Cleveland yet this year, but I'm expecting Cabrera to go out there and be very good. I don't think we have to worry too much about him having an extended start. He's had extended starts before and looked good in the next outing. So I think he's going to be good. I think the Marlins bullpen is a bit of a work in progress. A 4.15 bullpen ERA doesn't fill me with tons of optimism, and the offense, while they're coming off a 13-run game, guys, has not been incredible. 13, 3, 1, 6, 1, 5, 6, and 6 over their last few games is definitely not terrible, but this is not one of the premier offenses in the majors, although they got some young guys they're calling up that are hitting the ball pretty well. They're 10th in batting average, they're 18th in slugging percentage this year, 18th in runs scored. Honestly, this Marlins team has overachieved drastically based on what I thought they would do, if you just asked me in the preseason what I thought the Marlins would do. So pretty good stuff from Miami. We'll see what they can do here against the Guardians, who at 62-57 on the year. Definitely a team that has not given up hope. They're only 1 game out of the wild card. Pretty impressive stuff. 1 game back of the Yankees. Only 3 games back of the Mariners for the top wild card spot there in the American League. So a lot of positives right now for the Guardians. They're going to hand the ball in this game to Tanner Bybee. He's 8-9 this season, a 4.60 ERA. In his last 3 starts, it's been a little bit rough. He's given up 4 earned runs in each of them. Now, all 4 of those games were wins for the Guardians, so congratulations on that. But as a slightly offensively challenged team, I don't think that's something you can lean on a nightly basis. I mean, he's given up 4, 4, 4, 3, and 2 earned runs over his last 5 starts. Somehow, the Guardians have won all of those. So we'll see if he can keep that hot run going. In terms of history against the Marlins this season, he doesn't have any, so we'll see how that goes. The Cleveland bullpen, definitely a strength for them. A 3.61 bullpen ERA has them 7th best in the majors right now at time of recording, so that's all pretty positive. The offense coming off a day where they got outscored 13-4, that probably doesn't feel great, but that's obviously not the norm. However, this team is not an offensive juggernaut. 4-4-4. 3, 9, 4, 3, and 7 over their last few games. For a team that is last in the majors in batting average, 26th in runs scored. That's not great. They are 26th in slugging percentage. Like, this is not necessarily a super strong team at the plate. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Marlins are plus 110. The Guardians are minus 130. A total of 7.5 out there. The Marlins are 29-31 on the road, 29-29-2 to the over-under on the road. The Guardians are 30-27 at home, and a 500 over-under team at home as well. Guys, I think this is going to be a very close game. I like Cabrera on the mound out awful lot better than I like Tanner Bybee. Give me the Marlins here at plus 110, and on a short slate like this, I'd be lying if I said they didn't have a chance to be the dog of the day once again. We are very high on what Cabrera is doing right now. The bullpen held together a little bit, and the offense seems hot, and Bybee isn't shutting dudes out. So let's maybe run it back here on the Marlins at plus 110. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Philadelphia Phillies headed to Washington to take on the Nationals. Now, the Phillies just lost 2 out of 3 there against the Reds. Now they got to head to Washington. They're going to need to turn things around a little bit. They've still got a 5-game lead there in the NL East, taking advantage. Well, I mean, like staying well ahead of the Mets. We'll see how things go here for them down the stretch as they hand the ball to Jesus Luzardo, who's 11-5 this year, a 4.20 ERA. His last start, we had good Luzardo. 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run allowed there against the Rangers in a 3-2 win. His start before that, 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against Baltimore. Start for that, dominated the White Sox, but start before that got shelled by Boston, and the start before that got shelled by the Angels. So it's a little bit tough to know what you're going to get from Luzardo. He does come into this game throwing the ball well, so give him credit there. He has only a start back at the very, very, very beginning of the season against the Nationals. He was good, but I don't really give too much weight to that. So we'll see what he can do in this one, going up against a Nationals team that's coming off of a walk-off or a 1-run win there against the Royals. We'll see. The bullpen for the Phillies is a concern, for sure. A 4.29 bullpen ERA is terrible. Definitely a bullpen that didn't have a great time there against the Reds. Maybe they can bounce back here against the Nationals. The offense, 0, 1, 4, 4, 3, and 9 over their last few games. Not in the ball incredibly well. They are 9th in the majors in runs scored, 6th in batting average, 9th in slugging percentage, and Schwarber's put up crazy home run numbers this year, but this is not looking like the offensive juggernaut Phillies team that they expected to be and will need to be in the playoffs if that bullpen's going to be a disaster. So we'll see what they can do here at Washington, taking on the Nationals, who are 48-72 on the year. Clearly a team with very little left to play for. Yeah, very cool to see them get that win there for their fans, I'm sure, taking down the Royals and saving themselves from getting swept. They'll hand the ball in this game to Brad Lord. He comes into this game a 3.28 ERA. His last 4 outings have all been starts, and I would say 3 of them have went great. The one against the Brewers, not so hot, but really he's throwing the ball pretty well. So we'll see what he can do here against the Phillies. A pretty stern test, although it's not like the Phillies have been swinging the hottest bats. He did face the Phillies back in very early May and was good over 5 innings. So we'll see if he can run it back in this one. The Nationals bullpen's been the worst bullpen in the majors this year. A 5.84 bullpen ERA. Yikes. And the offense, 8-5, 4, 8, 4, 0, 0, and 2 over their last few games. This is not some sort of monster offensive team. They're 22nd in the majors in slugging percentage, 18th in batting average, batting .244 as a squad. They're 19th this year in runs scored. This is not a terrible team at the plate, don't get me wrong. They're not bottom of the barrel, but they're also not great. So I do worry a little bit about them at the plate. Now looking at the numbers for this game, the Phillies are minus 210. The Nationals are plus 170. Totals out there of 9 or 8.5. The Phillies are 32-29 on the road, 37-21-3 to the under on the road. Washington's 22-36 at home, 31-26-1 to the over at home. Given Washington's coming off of a win and Luzardo's been throwing the ball so well for the Phillies, I will lean towards the Phillies at minus 210, but that price tag is way too expensive for me to get too interested. So this game, probably going to be a stay away spot. I don't see anything great jumping out to me about that total either. Rolling through these games, we've got the Atlanta Braves headed to New York to take on the Mets. The Braves at 52-68 on the year, pretty much out of the mix, but they had a good time there yesterday against the Mets. They scored 11 unanswered runs to win that game 11-6. So pretty nuts there. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Bryce Elder, who's 4-9 on the season. This young 26-year-old not having the year the Braves imagined. 4-9, a 6.12 ERA is not great. His last start, he got knocked around aggressively by the Marlins. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs against a team like the Marlins. Not the best look. Not that the Marlins are terrible this year, but yeah, Bryce Elder just not having the best season. We'll see what he can do against the Mets. Obviously not the easiest, or I would say not the toughest team to face, but he hasn't faced them this season. So we'll see how that goes. The bullpen for Atlanta has been pretty bad. A 4.01 bullpen ERA, definitely well under expectations for this team this season. The offense, coming off an 11-run game. I'm sure that feels great. That has not been the norm for this team, although they have been hitting the ball a lot better down the stretch. 11, 5, 7, 8, 7, 1, and 8 over their last few. Impressive for a team that's 21st in the majors in runs scored, only batting .242 as a team. They are 19th in slugging percentage. No crazy offensive numbers. I mean, Ozuna's up to 20 home runs. Like, that's cool. But yeah, I have not been particularly high on the Atlanta Braves offense this season. So we'll see if they can get some runs across the plate here against the Mets, who have to be pretty devastated with the way things are going down the stretch. They're all the way down to 64-56 on the year. Not great. They're only one game up on the Cincinnati Reds for the last wild card spot out there in the National League. This has been a disaster stretch for the Mets, who have now lost, what is it up to again? I don't know. It's just all red, guys. They've lost, 9 out of their last 10, or it's bad. It's real bad there for the Mets. They'll hand the ball in this game to Kodai Senga. He is 7-4 in the year, a 2.30 ERA. His last start only made it 4 1/3 innings. 2 hits, 3 runs, one of which was earned in a 3-2 loss there against the Brewers. He has not been particularly dominant recently. He also has been unable to go deep into games. Not the Senga that the Mets fans were hoping they would get this year. Now, their bullpen, it's been excellent at many points this season, but a 3.76 bullpen ERA does not really get me going. I'll be honest. It has not been dominant down the stretch. That's been a problem. The offense, I know they put up 13 runs in game 1 of this series, but 6, 13, 6, 4, 2, 1, 2, and 6 over their last few games. Not really what they were hoping for from this unit, guys. This offense is a very high-paid offense, and 21st in batting average, 15th in runs scored, 12th in on-base percentage. Like, not very dominant numbers for a team that boasts some very big names. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Braves are -155, the Mets are -190, a total of 8.5 in this game. Atlanta's 20-38 on the road, 29-25 and 4 to the over on the road. The Mets 39-21 at home, 29-28 and 3 to the under at home. I will be siding with the Mets here at -190. It's an expensive price, so I'm not necessarily in love with that, but Bryce Elder's been bad this year. The Mets have to be in desperation mode, but they're slumping, so is this a team I'm willing to put in the pinned comment right now? Seems like a bit of a stretch. Cruising through these games, we're looking at the Detroit Tigers headed to Minnesota to take on the Twins. Now, the Tigers just won 2 out of 3 there at the White Sox, but they did not make it look particularly easy, winning the last game of that series 1-0. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Tariq Skubal. So happy Skubal Day to all those who celebrate. They've also got a 6.5 game lead there in the AL Central. So not a ton of reason to panic here for Detroit, but they need a good steadying influence here. A nice solid start from Skubal, who's 11-3 this season, a 2.35 ERA. He has been a little bit shaky his last couple of times on the mound. 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs against the Phillies, then 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs allowed there in a 6-5 win against the Angels. So he hasn't been his best his last couple of times on the mound, but this could be an opportunity for him to bounce back here going up against a Twins team that he went up against in the very end of June. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs allowed, walked 1 and struck out 13 in a 3-0 win. So I'm expecting Skubal to go out there and be very good in this one. The Tigers bullpen, on the other hand, I'm not expecting miracles. A 4.15 bullpen ERA has been a bit sketchy here down the stretch. Definitely not what you were hoping to see as a Tigers fan. Like, this bullpen hasn't really done what you wanted to, although, obviously very good there yesterday, so that's a point in their favor. The offense, 1, 6, 2, 9, 4, 6, and 4 over their last few games. It's been a steady decline for this offense. 8th in runs scored, down from being, a top 5 run scored team. 8th in slugging percentage as well. Just not putting up those crazy offensive numbers like they were in the early goings. Riley Green obviously having a very good season, but not one of those, leading kind of sluggers. So we'll see what they do here going up against the Minnesota Twins, who come into this game 57 and 63 on the year. So they're another team, clinging to what little faith they have left. 6.5 games back there in the American League wildcard chase. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Bailey Ober. He comes into this game 4-7 this season, a 5.16 ERA, and his last start was excellent, going up against the Royals, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run allowed, but we saw the Twins lose that game 2-0. His 4 starts before that were all very, very mediocre, struggling against Cleveland, struggling against Detroit, who shelled him 5 2/3 innings, 11 hits, 7 earned runs. So gave up 4 home runs in that game. I bet he's not jonesing to face the Tigers in this one. So definitely worried about Bailey Ober in this spot. The Twins bullpen has not been anything special either. 4.39 bullpen ERA currently has them 7th worst in all of Major League Baseball. The offense, 4-1-2, 5-0 over their last few games has not been great. They're 23rd in the majors in runs scored. They're 23rd in batting average. This team also isn't necessarily fully healthy. There've been a lot of troubles, a lot of problems for the Twins. They did have that weirdly long winning streak early in the season, but things have gotten pretty bleak for them down the stretch. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Tigers are -205. The Twins are +170. We've got a total of 7.5 in this game. Detroit is 31-28 on the road, 34-25 to the over on the road. The Twins are 32-25 at home, 29-26-2 to the under at home. I'm not interested in hardly anything from this game except for taking the Detroit Tigers and Tariq Skubal as our lock of the day. We've been on a bit of a tough stretch there with the lock of the day, getting some really bad luck, some 9th inning losses left and right in this one, but I think Skubal is going to come through, bring us the win in this one. I think Detroit's going to rough up Bailey Ober here once again like they did just not too long ago. Definitely giving the Tigers here at -205. I know Skubal struggled a little bit recently. I'm not too worried. Last but not least here, guys, we're looking at the Arizona Diamondbacks headed to Colorado to take on the Rockies. Now, the Diamondbacks come into this game fresh off winning 2 out of 3 there at the Rangers. Arizona comes into this game still shockingly not completely out of the hunt. They are 5.5 games back in the National League wildcard race. So, yeah, not expecting miracles from the Diamondbacks down the stretch, but they're still kind of trying. They'll hand the ball in this game to Eduardo Rodriguez, who's 4-7 this year, a 5.68 ERA. His last start, he got knocked around aggressively by the Rockies. 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs allowed in a game we eventually saw Arizona win 6-5. Can he make that happen again? Well, he's going to have to really hope that the bats show up because he did not look good in that start. Maybe he bounces back in this one, but Eduardo Rodriguez, not someone we've been very high on this season. And also, that Diamondbacks bullpen, atrocious. A 4.74 bullpen ERA, a big part of why this team struggled, but they also struggled because the offense wasn't looking great. Now, things have changed a lot in the Diamondbacks batting order. Obviously, tons and tons of guys sold off there at the trade deadline. I say tons and tons, several important pieces sold off there at the trade deadline. So we'll see what they can do. Now, over the course of this, little stretch here, they've won 5 of their last 6. They did win all 3 games against the Rockies, winning 13-6, 6-5, and 6-1. So I'm sure they'll be hoping to replicate some of that as a team that's 6th in the majors in runs scored. They still have a lot of pride there at the plate. Now, they're taking on a Rockies team that's got to be running out of pride. They did just get very lucky. A second home run of the day with a borrowed bat. Doesn't that make me feel great? That was a great way to brick our lock of the day there yesterday. The Cardinals giving it up to the Rockies. But the Rockies, we'll see what they can do. Hand the ball in this one to Bradley Blaylock, who's 1-3 this season, a 7.89 ERA. His last start, 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs against Arizona. Start for that, 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 7 earned runs allowed against the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. So, not a lot of reason to be stoked about Bradley Blaylock on the mound. Obviously, the Rockies bullpen is one of the worst bullpens in the majors this season. A 5.44 bullpen ERA. A pretty huge yikes there. The offense for the Rockies isn't anything special either. 6-3-2, 6-5-1 over their last few games is pretty respectable for a team that's 2nd worst in the entire major leagues in runs scored and dead last in on-base percentage. Not a lot of positives going to come from me about these Colorado Rockies guys. It's pretty bleak. Now, the numbers for this game are a little bit odd. The Diamondbacks are -175. The Rockies are +150. We got a total of 12 in this game. Arizona's 28-32 on the road, 28-28-4 to the over-under on the road. The Rockies are an MLB worst, 16-42 at home. They're a 500 over-under team at home. I'm not really interested in that total of 12 in this game. I do think this is a pretty reasonable spot to be on the Diamondbacks. Am I stoked to be involved here with Eduardo Rodriguez? No. But I think Bradley Blaylock and the Rockies are so terrible that getting Arizona at under 2-1 in this game actually makes a lot of sense. So this could theoretically make it into the pinned comment, especially on this short slate. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today on this short Thursday slate. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I really appreciate all the new subscribers we've been getting. Let me know in the comments any questions you have about today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're clicking the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com. Check out all that great free content we've got over there, as well as the premium stuff. And definitely check out that bet size calculator, guys. It could definitely help you, save your bankroll. You don't want to be busting your entire bankroll here if you have a bad day or two. Guys, we'll be right back here tomorrow with a full slate to cover there on Friday. We'll be here with more sports betting action.